From the bustling cities to the serene countryside, architecture shapes the world around us. These structures, grand and humble, tell stories of our past, embody the spirit of our present, and inspire dreams of our future. If I say Paris, the first thing that normally comes to mind is the image of the Eiffel Tower, right? But imagine if instead of a tower, Paris's landscape was dominated by a huge guillotine. I bet our selfies would look quite different, huh? We'd have to cut some people out of the picture. Okay, never mind. A lot of famous landmarks almost look very different than they do today. Join me as we journey through time and explore the fascinating world of what could have been in the realm of architecture. So how about we take a trip down history lane and take a look at them? Standing tall and proud in New York Harbor, the Statue of Liberty is a beacon of hope and freedom. But did you know this symbol of American ideals could have been drastically different? Before Lady Liberty, as we know her, graced the American shores, the sculptor, Frederick August Bartholdi, had a different vision in mind. Imagine, if you will, a colossal figure not of a Roman goddess, but of an Egyptian peasant woman. This initial concept, intended for the Suez Canal, was a powerful image of progress and modernity. Bartholdi envisioned this Egyptian woman as a guardian, holding aloft a torch, illuminating the path to a new era of trade and prosperity. However, due to financial constraints, the grand vision for the Suez Canal was abandoned. But Bartholdi's dream did not die. He adapted his concept, transforming the Egyptian peasant into the Roman goddess Libertas. And the rest, as they say, is history. It's intriguing to think how different the New York skyline would look today if the original plan had come to fruition. Would this Egyptian sentinel have held the same powerful symbolism as Lady Liberty? It's a question that sparks the imagination. The White House, the iconic residence of the President of the United States, has borne witness to centuries of American history. But this symbol of power and democracy could have looked remarkably different. Before the familiar neoclassical facade graced Pennsylvania Avenue, numerous designs were submitted, each offering a unique vision for the presidential residence. One such design, penned by none other than Thomas Jefferson, the third president himself, proposed a more modest structure. However, the most striking alternative came from architect James Hoban, who envisioned a grand palace inspired by the grandeur of European architecture. This majestic structure, adorned with columns and pediments, would have undoubtedly conveyed a sense of imperial power. Another intriguing contender was put forth by architect Philip Hart. His design featured a three-story building with two front balconies, a stark contrast to the current White House's horizontal layout. Imagine the president addressing the nation from one of these balconies, overlooking a bustling Washington, D.C. Ultimately, it was James Hoban's design, albeit with modifications, that won the day. Yet, these alternative visions offer a glimpse into a world where the White House, the very symbol of American democracy, might have reflected a different architectural language. Tower Bridge, a marvel of Victorian engineering, stands as a symbol of London's rich history and architectural ingenuity. But this iconic landmark could have taken on a drastically different form. Before the familiar towers and bascules graced the River Thames, numerous designs were proposed, each grappling with the challenge of creating a bridge that wouldn't obstruct river traffic while complementing the nearby Tower of London. One such design envisioned a more traditional suspension bridge with a soaring arch connecting both towers. While aesthetically pleasing, this design was deemed impractical due to the limited space available. Another fascinating proposal suggested a truly unique concept, a bridge shaped like the number 8 when viewed from above. This intricate design, while visually striking, was ultimately rejected due to its complex engineering and potential for instability. Ultimately, the winning design, a masterpiece of functionality and elegance, was chosen. Yet, these alternative visions offer a glimpse into a world where Tower Bridge might have been a radically different landmark, perhaps a Victorian puzzle box suspended over the Thames. Chapter 4. The Eiffel Tower. A monstrous lighthouse or a giant guillotine? The Eiffel Tower, a symbol of Parisian romance and architectural audacity, pierces the sky with its intricate latticework. But this icon of modern engineering could have been a drastically different sight. Before Gustave Eiffel's vision soared above the Champ de Mars, over 700 designs were submitted, each vying for the honor of representing France at the 1889 World's Fair. Imagine, if you will, a monstrous lighthouse towering over the city, its beacon visible for miles. This was one of the many proposals, intended to showcase France's maritime prowess. However, perhaps the most chilling alternative was the concept of a giant guillotine, a stark reminder of the French Revolution. This controversial proposal, while ultimately rejected, reflects the turbulent history that shaped the nation. In the end, it was Eiffel's bold and innovative design that captivated the imagination. Yet these alternative visions, from the practical to the downright bizarre, remind us that even the most iconic landmarks were once a canvas for boundless creativity. Chapter 5. The U.S. Capitol Building, a bird on top. The U.S. Capitol Building, a majestic symbol of American democracy, stands atop Capitol Hill, its iconic dome piercing the Washington, D.C. skyline. But this architectural masterpiece could have looked quite different. Before William Thornton's neoclassical design was chosen, numerous architects submitted their visions for the Capitol, each reflecting a different interpretation of American ideals. One such design, while lost to history, featured a peculiar element, a large bird perched atop the dome. This avian addition, intended to symbolize freedom and national pride, was ultimately deemed impractical and aesthetically jarring. Another proposal, championed by Thomas Jefferson, drew inspiration from ancient Roman architecture. This grand design, featuring a temple-like facade and a towering dome, aimed to evoke the grandeur and permanence of the Roman Republic. Ultimately, it was Thornton's design, with its harmonious blend of classical elements and American ingenuity, that captured the spirit of a young nation. Still, these alternative visions offer a fascinating glimpse into a world where the U.S. Capitol building might have been crowned by a giant bird or resembled a Roman temple. Chapter 6. The Arc de Triomphe, standing proudly at the western end of the Champs-Élysées, is a symbol of French military victories and national pride. But this iconic monument could have taken on a very different form. Before the familiar triumphal arch design was chosen, several alternative proposals were put forward, each reflecting a unique artistic vision. One of the most striking alternatives was a monumental elephant, its trunk raised in a gesture of victory. This colossal pachyderm, inspired by a Renaissance-era fascination with elephants as symbols of nobility and strength, would have undoubtedly been an awe-inspiring sight. Imagine a grand staircase winding its way up the elephant's massive legs, leading to a platform housed within its belly. From this vantage point, visitors could have enjoyed panoramic views of Paris, a truly unforgettable experience. However, the elephant monument, while visually striking, was ultimately deemed impractical due to its sheer size and the logistical challenges of its construction. The winning design, a more traditional Roman-inspired arch, proved to be a more feasible and symbolic choice. Chapter 7. The Sydney Opera House, with its soaring white sails reflected in the harbour, is an architectural marvel and a symbol of Australia's vibrant culture. But this iconic landmark could have looked remarkably different. Before Jorn Utzon's groundbreaking design graced Bennelong Point, numerous architects from around the world submitted their visions for the Sydney Opera House. One of the most intriguing alternative designs was inspired by the Nautilus shell, its spiral form echoing the fluidity of music. This organic design featured a series of interconnected shells, each housing a different performance space. Imagine a structure rising from the harbor, its exterior adorned with big, full-height windows, offering breathtaking views of the city and the sea. The roof, made from folded concrete, would have created a play of light and shadow, adding to the building's visual appeal. While this Nautilus-inspired design was praised for its creativity and sensitivity to the site, it was ultimately deemed too complex and expensive to construct. Utzon's bold and innovative design, with its iconic sail-shaped shells, proved to be a more practical and visually stunning choice. Chapter 8. The Lincoln Memorial, a solemn and majestic tribute to Abraham Lincoln, stands as a symbol of unity and hope. But this iconic monument, forever etched in American history, could have taken on a very different form. Before Henry Bacon's neoclassical design was chosen, numerous architects submitted their visions for the Lincoln Memorial, each offering a unique interpretation of Lincoln's legacy. One of the most striking alternatives was a colossal ziggurat, its towering steps reaching towards the heavens. This ancient Mesopotamian architectural form, often associated with temples and religious ceremonies, was intended to convey a sense of grandeur and timelessness. Another intriguing proposal envisioned a 250-foot-tall replica of the Greek Parthenon, its white marble columns and pediments echoing the ideals of democracy and classical learning. This design aimed to place Lincoln within a lineage of great leaders from antiquity. Ultimately, it was Bacon's neoclassical design, with its simple yet powerful Doric columns and its solemn statue of Lincoln, that captured the essence of Lincoln's character and the spirit of a nation healing from a devastating war. From the Statue of Liberty to the Sydney Opera House, we've journeyed through time, exploring the fascinating world of alternative architecture. It's remarkable to think how different our world might look if these alternative visions had been realized. But perhaps the most important lesson we can take away from this exploration is the power of imagination. These alternative designs, though never built, serve as a reminder that even the most iconic landmarks were once just ideas, born from the creative minds of architects and dreamers. That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the secret organization.